most exciting sport in the world. The speed, the insane hits, the raucous energy of the crowds. No, it ain't badminton. This is an advisor's life. We're talking hockey. If you're in the world of junior hockey, if you've ever dreamed of making it to the NCAA or the pros, if you've ever wondered about the pitfalls and the costly mistakes that players and parents can make along the way, you're in the right place. Here to educate you beyond the smoke and mirrors, beyond the propaganda that leagues and teams use to manipulate you into making decisions that could cost you your career or your hard-earned money. We don't pull punches. This ain't a popularity contest. Just the real and the raw, no matter who may get their little feelings hurt. Disrupting the status quo. This is an advisor's life with your host, Joseph Kolodziej. Truth bombs coming in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome to this edition of An Advisor's Life. I'm your host, Joseph Kolodziej, and I've been a family advisor for 31 years in a couple of weeks. And a lot has changed in the game, and a lot continues to change in the game today. And it seems like we're going at a light speed pace. It's shocking everything that's happening. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things. First of all, we're going to talk about the astronomical number of teams that are in trouble because they don't have enough bodies to fill their rosters. And then we're also going to talk about next year, 2026, 2027, and why for us as scouts, as advisors, the 2025 year is really over and we're already working on 2026. So before I get into all that, let me get the legal disclaimer out of the way. This is not specific advice on what you should or shouldn't do with your specific hockey career. This is general information that we would share with any hockey talent management client or anyone who calls for a free consultation. So with that, let's get into this year. And there's a disturbing lack of players to place on pay-to-play rosters. And this is in the United States and Canada. This is not isolated to any one league. We are hearing reports from very well-established junior leagues and established programs at good levels who haven't completed their rosters yet. And oh, by the way, by the time this airs, it's going to be September. In fact, I got an email in the middle of the night from a very well-placed person in a very respected league asking for more players. And I'm sorry, we have no more players to send anyone. We've got plenty of spots that teams are asking us to fill, but we have no more players. So if you're a player out there who doesn't have a place to play yet, please let us know. We can get you placed in a day in a good organization, probably for a lot less money than you were offered in May, because those $12,000 tuitions that were around in May, some of them are now $5,000. So there's a lot of good deals to be had out there if you're a player in that situation where you're still looking for a team. Now, if you're a player who's reported to a team and you get there and they've got 6 goalies and not much else, you better look around and you better understand that all of the cut down players that teams are saying they're going to receive, they're not coming. And if they do come, they're not coming until almost the end of September, because these tier 2 teams are holding on to an average of 40 players per team right now. That's across the board on both sides of the border. They're holding on to about 40. And some teams are doing it on purpose. They're trying to crush the competition. They want their competitors to not have enough bodies to move forward. This is an actual tactic that is taking place, and it's deliberate. So don't allow yourself to become a pawn in really what is a five-dimensional game of chess that's taking place between many leagues and many associations. Really, look out for yourself first. All that team loyalty stuff, when you get to a team and you've got six goalies and two or three defensemen and two or three forwards, that goes out the window. It's time to bet on you. It's time to make your move. Um, don't wait, because it's going to be too late. And not one team in North America is all of a sudden going to have 10 players fall from the sky and land on their roster to save their season. It's not going to happen. Take care of yourself. And on that note of taking care of yourself, I want to segue into this next part of what we're going to talk about today. 2025 is over. 2026 has already begun. And we'll talk about that when I get back after the break.
When it comes to getting to the next level, there is only one name you need to know: hockey talent management. The gold standard in player advisor services for nearly 30 years. Helping players and families get to NCAA, junior, and professional hockey leagues around the world. When you are ready to really reach for your dreams, it can only be hockey talent management.
Welcome back. So, why am I saying 2025 is over when it's only September? And why am I saying 2026 has already begun? Well, it's very simple. For those of you that think that going to a pre-draft camp or going to a combine or anything like that next year is what's going to get you drafted or tendered or something like that, you're delusional. You don't understand how scouting works. Now, our players at Hockey Talent Management right now, we are working on developing those relationships at the next level for every player so that they can develop them during the season, so that they can get scouted during this season. By the time you start working on this in January, February, it's already too late. It's over. Getting on a scouting schedule in January or February for the month of March, or maybe you're lucky to be playing in April, it's not going to happen. Planning now and long-term planning now is really what this is all about. The idea that anyone uses the phrase that if you're good enough, they'll find you. Anyone using that phrase anymore doesn't know anything about today's game. Anyone thinking that a highlight video is going to get you signed or get you moved up to the next level or get you drafted doesn't understand how scouting works. Scouting is eyes on. Film and video is only used to either confirm or deny what was seen in person. So you've got to develop these personal relationships. Don't count on your coach or anybody else who's telling you, "Oh, I'm going to get you moved up," or anything else, because hey, they've got 20 some guys on their team that they're making the same promise to. And by the way, most of them have to work another job, or they have to schedule practices, they have to schedule travel, everything else. Simply from a time management standpoint, it is completely impossible for them to keep their promise to every player on the roster. And unless you're one of the top performers on your team, don't expect a whole lot for you to happen at the next level. So 2025, assuming everyone's got their team, 2025 is over. We know where you're going to be playing. What we need now is to make sure you're on scouting schedules, to make sure that you're getting seen. If you're playing in the North Pole, forget about it. If you think just by playing in a league that has labeled itself Tier 2, you don't understand how hockey works. No one, and I'm sorry to pick on the KIJ, but no one at NCAA D1 is going to scout the KIJ. No one's going to scout the Pacific Junior League either. In fact, scouting in the BCHL is going to plummet. Because if I'm going to British Columbia or Alberta or the Pacific Northwest, I'm going to watch the WHL. That's it. That's the only league scouts need to watch when it comes to Division I. And wake up call, everybody. Truth bomb. NCAA D3 schools aren't traveling that much. They don't have the budgets. And they don't need to, because there's so many good hockey players playing in the United States that they can drive and go watch. Everybody needs to really pay attention to what's going on here, because the world changed last October when the NCAA made a rule change. Your whole world changed, and you may not even see it, but it's a fact, and you're going to have to deal with it. Now, if you have questions, comments, concerns about your specific hockey career, feel free to email info@hockeytalentmanagement.com, and we can set up a no cost or obligation, not time limited consultation, and we can talk about what's going on with you. Now, I hope you found this edition of An Advisor's Life informative, or at least entertaining. And again, my name is Joseph Kolodziej. I'm happy to be your host here. Please like and follow us on all of our social media channels. And until next time, I hope to see you in the rink.
You've been listening to An Advisor's Life. Over the past 3 decades, Joseph has been on every side of the hockey business. Team owner, a general manager, a coach, a league vice president, a player, a family advisor, and an agent. He's worked with everyone from the NHL all the way down the ladder. He's seen it all. For over a decade, he's been writing a column on the Junior Hockey News. Everyone kept telling him, hey, do a podcast. So he's finally taken the plunge. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hit us up on Twitter at junior_hockey, on Facebook at Junior Hockey News, and on Instagram at The Junior Hockey News. See you next time with more Truth Bombs on An Advisor's Life.